Welcome back to Blackthornprod. I'm Noah. Since I was 13 years old, Steam has been my go-to place to buy and play games. Steam has a massive audience, millions and millions of people play and buy their games there. It's always been my long-term dream goal to sell my very own game on Steam. I wrote a long blog post on the 31st of December with my New Year resolutions. One of them was to sell a game on Steam. This goal has been around for many years. So I started working on the Dreadful Whispers very early this year. It's a story-driven platformer full of weird mechanics like being able to reveal a creepy other side to the world, blasting hidden monsters, simple yet mind-twisting puzzle sections. Around March I knew I wanted to sell the game, but I figured since the project was pretty small, I would just upload it on itch.io for a few dollars. Itch.io is where I've uploaded all of my other free games, just to have fun and learn stuff. Uploading and even selling a game on itch.io is a piece of cake. You just zip the game's files, set a price, and there we go, done. I love the simplicity of itch.io. The interface to set up your game page is really clean. You can even customize the page where people play or download your game. However, as the Dreadful Whispers grew in scope and became more and more interesting, I began to feel like selling the game on itch.io might not be the best idea, mainly because there are just a lot less players on itch.io compared to Steam. Steam is where the massive majority of people buy and play games, myself included. But I felt a bit overwhelmed by what I would need to do to get my game on Steam. Where do I even start? How do developers upload a game on the platform? So I searched it up and stumbled upon some documentation. I would need to pay $100 to even get started, set up an official legal company, which means lots of horrendous, boring and confusing paperwork. There would also be weird programming involved to upload a build of the game. Then I would need to implement Steam achievements. How the heck does that even work? Not to mention that Steam takes a 30% cut of the money you make, and that my game would be competing against thousands of other games, from AAA to indie sensations. The simple, happy thought of just zipping a file and uploading the game on itch.io instead was extremely tempting, and it still is. Plus, itch.io doesn't take any money from the developers. 100% of the revenue I would make would be mine. I could give a small chunk to itch if I wanted, but it's not an obligation. And there's just a lot less great games coming out on itch.io every single day, so my creation would have a much better chance standing out and being featured on the front page. But I was worried my community would be disappointed, and again, Steam is massive, the audience is massive, and the learning experience of putting a game on Steam, though scary and a bit overwhelming, would be huge and very beneficial. Jonas, an awesome game dev YouTuber, made a superb video underlining the process he and his team went through to put their game Islanders on Steam. That was a breath of fresh air. The way he describes the whole process didn't seem that complex after all. So on Tuesday morning, I decided to get started. I paid the $100 entry fee and began my Steam journey. Everything was going pretty smoothly. I had a lot of fun setting up the Dreadful Whispers store page, writing a description, adding tags, as well as cool screenshots of the game. Seeing my own game like this on a Steam page was incredible. It was like joining the cool kids playground. It felt like a big step in a new, interesting, unknown, scary, exciting direction. This is it. This small project that started as a bunch of ugly squares in Unity was getting ready to be sold to players around the world on Steam. That's amazing. Feeling more and more confident, I decided to try and upload the current game build. And the horror began. Hours and hours were spent watching tutorials, reading documentation, and sweating profusely in the torturous summer heat, trying to figure out why my game would not upload properly. At first, the whole upload process seemed nightmarish, extremely complex. I had to type in alien commands in this ugly application, tweak links in this bland white text file, play around with folders and things called depots via the Steamworks website. Why, I thought, why doesn't Steam make it as easy as uploading a game on itch.io or Newgrounds? Why? I then broke my computer screen after punching it in frustration and was about to delete my YouTube channel as an angry impulse, but instead threw my drawing tablet out the window for luck. Just kidding. I took a cold shower and tried calmly piecing together this mess. Turns out it isn't nearly as complex as I initially thought. Thanks to some great tutorials which I'll link in the description, I began to really understand the whole process, but for some weird reason, it still didn't work. So I called upon Jonas, the cool dude I mentioned just a moment ago, who had some real experience getting games to work on Steam. I explained my problem and prayed he would miraculously spot the issue. An hour later, with a tiny bit of tweaking in these text files, the problem was solved. And the game, my game, is working on Steam. That's just crazy. So massive thanks to Jonas. Seriously, consider checking out his channel. He has some awesome content. It's crazy how complex and kind of dreamlike and impossible certain things can seem until you actually just do it and realize that it wasn't that hard after all. I've in no way finished this whole process. The Dreadful Whispers isn't at all finished. I need to implement Steam achievements, figure out how to make working Mac and Linux game builds, get verified by Valve, but I'm a lot more confident now. I'll just take one challenge at a time and get this project done. The Dreadful Whispers Steam page isn't yet public because I don't have a trailer of the game yet, but as soon as I feel like the project is really almost done, I'll create the release trailer and launch the Steam page. You can count on me on regularly updating you on the progress I make on my projects right here on YouTube. I want to share with you all my struggles and successes with this Steam journey, so that when you do go through this experience yourself, you're a bit more prepared and know that if this 19-year-old dude can do it, you can as well. I'll also be sharing the revenue I make with my game on Steam when it's finally out, the stress and excitement of a week before and after release. I'll respond to reviews and fix bugs. I'm going to try and make these next months as transparent and honest as possible, so that you live through this adventure with me. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and an extra big thank you to my patrons for supporting this content financially every month. I recently reached $500 on Patreon. That's amazing. The goal was to open up my own merch store, and so I did. There's cool t-shirts available in different colors, including a stylish Dreadful Whispers one. There's also a Game Jam mug and 2 neat stickers. All art was of course made by me from scratch. Purchasing something from the store is a great way to support Blackthornprod. Okay, stay tuned everyone. Cheers!